Hi, welcome to another episode of Go Bros. I'm Philip.
And I'm Luke, and today we are reviewing another first-person shooter game.
Yeah, this is FireZone. The developer of this game is very active in the Go community. I believe he had a lot of people from the Go community Discord help him test this game. And
Yep.
it's actually a shame. We should have reviewed this like a long time ago. It just kind of fell under our radar. I don't know if it's because a lot of other folks were reviewing it at the time, but it was at the top of our list, and we just forgot to review it
Yep.
and kind of feel bad. RJ, the developer, reached out and said, "Hey, weren't you guys going to review that?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, so we're reviewing it."
Yeah, we are.
So we decided to do this because we realized games where we need to stand up and move around doesn't work great when you have a green screen.
No, they do not.
So
Nope.
we decided to play it first and kind of discuss a little bit in game, and then we'll show some footage from my go from when we were playing, and probably some trailer footage, and just kind of talk about the game. So we just recently reviewed a game called Colonical, which I really loved. Very fast paced,
Yeah,
very short map. Biggest negative of Colonical though is you can't play it unless you have somebody else to play with.
that's
There's no
true.
bots.
Yeah, there's no bots. You're have to find some friends to play with, which isn't all bad, but it does. When it comes to these social games, which are the games we're primarily reviewing, the biggest factor to make those work is that you have to have the social aspect. And so the the only way to learn the game is to find somebody else nearby. With this game, it has the addition of giving you bots, which gives you the ability to kind of learn the maps, even if there's no one else online to play with.
Yeah, and that's really what a lot of hardcore players want to do is they want to be competitive. In fact, when this game first came out, there was people in the Go community already talking about forming teams because there was
Right.
nothing like this as far as anybody knew available on the go. A free movement first person shooter.
Right.
Nobody knew Canonical even existed when this came out because anybody who tried it couldn't play it because you needed someone to play with.
Yeah. So let's talk about the game experience as far as the social aspect goes. There was, a lot of other things we could talk about in the game, but once we get into it in the social aspect, what were your first initial thoughts when you dove into the game?
Well, unlike Canonical, you could pair up with a stranger on this.
That's true.
I just played this on Saturday. Actually teamed up and played with somebody from the Go community, Yampoor, one of the founders of the Go community. And while we were playing, because he played Canonical with us on that event that nobody else went to. Um, and afterwards, later that afternoon, we played FireZone, and he
Yep.
and I talked about it, and he pointed out some things that really did make it stand out, and why somebody could have both Canonical and FireZone on their goes. And the biggest thing about FireZone is you could go be
Charlie
playing,
down.
have a room open, be playing with
Reloading,
bots,
Timmy.
and all of a sudden a real person comes in and plays with you.
Absolutely. I will say I loved that you could find other games in progress. I didn't like that you had to manually refresh. I'm sure there's technical reasons for that, but when you're trying to get a match going, I was constantly hitting the refresh button because it wouldn't just populate your room automatically. So if I'm going to be nitpicky, I would say the fact that I couldn't get that live updating to know that there was a room available was
Oh,
a little frustrating.
okay. I thought you were talking about every time you die, because that's something that I don't really like. Um, but I see why it's there. Every time you die, it doesn't just respawn you after like a 5 count or something. It gives you a menu. You have to go to the menu. Actually, to push the menu button, you have to press the back button. It brings up the menu, and it allows you to respawn, switch teams, and change loadouts. One thing that is cool about this game is you can create ahead of time 5 loadouts where you can choose what weapon you want to start with. So
Right.
if you're not doing so hot with the assault rifle, you can then, well, I'm going to respawn. I'm going to respawn with the shotgun this time.
Right, exactly. And it all depends on the map and what the other players have for their loadouts. And it also gives you the opportunity to change teams at that point as well. So there is some strategy that is involved with that particular way of respawning, and the fact that I can sit there and not respawn for the longest time and see where everybody went. I can't move while dead, but I can certainly see from that vantage point 360 where everybody is going to. So when I do respawn, I know exactly where to go.
I
So that
never
does
thought
give you a little
about that.
advantage.
Yeah, because you could, because especially if you're partied up, I'm pretty sure FireZone has in-game VoIP. Somebody's saying comments if I'm wrong. I'll try to look it up and show it on screen right now. But I think there's in-game VoIP to where if like kind of like Canonical, there was in-game VoIP except for that one map for some reason.
Oh no, but you're going back to that one map did have in-game. In fact, that's something I was missing about this. Chronicles in-game VoIP on that one map you could only hear your own team. To me, that is critical to make it successful. I don't know why all the maps weren't that way, but if you're gonna do in-game VoIP, that it needs to be by team. And in this case, I can definitely see in Firestorm where that would be a huge advantage to be able to have the talking going on, but ensuring that only your team can hear you.
Yeah. And with Canonical, I know we're supposed to be reviewing FireZone, but in Canonical, to piggyback of what you said, I kind of like that there's a map that's more competitive to where you can't hear the other team. But if you think from a social standpoint, let's say you're 1v1ing somebody and you're not partied up, you're not Oculus Go friends, but you're on opposite teams, you can still kind of talk and trash talk or whatever.
Yeah.
So this, not 100% sure. We didn't test it out if it had in-game VoIP because we partied up ahead of time. I think there is, but not 100% certain.
Right. And you can't help but compare. There's not a lot of first-person shooter games, and so when you are reviewing them, you kind of got to compare to the others. They each have their strengths. I definitely liked this, and it did have a little bit faster movement, and it did have a time limit to it. So there is ways you can work the clock to your advantage as well. The bots were a little all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. There's no strategy at all. I feel like if we had bots, it'd be great to have like a team captain that says, have the bot follow me, or I want to follow the bot, or whatever. But it was just kind of a crazy mess of bots. So I feel like the bot AI. I would say that the bots had no AI. They were just crazy bots, which changes the whole dynamic of the game as well. But overall,
but you can turn the bots off, though.
Yeah, you can turn them off. You can choose how many you have. So I did like that there was the option for that, especially when it was just you and I playing. The bots did have add a good element to it as well. So overall, I would say on the social component, it's really easy to get into the game. Being able to create your classes gives you a huge advantage as well, depending on what map you're in and who you're playing against.
So this game's got more than one type of weapon.
Yep.
It's got more than one type of game mode. So there's deathmatch.
Yep.
There's team deathmatch. There's gun game, where every time you kill somebody, you get a better gun.
Well, you get a different gun.
Yeah, I guess better is on your perspective.
Yeah, better is relative depending on who you're playing against and what level you're playing on.
Yeah, because the different guns are accurate at different ranges. They do different damage. The other gameplay, there's no capture the flag, but there's capture the point.
Yeah.
So we didn't play that when you and I played, but it's kind of boring one-on-one anyways. But there is capture the point, so lots of cool options there. This game costs, I think, $4.99 on the store.
That's right.
Whereas Canonical's free, but you're gonna get a lot more hardcore gamers playing this. You're gonna get people who want teams. You're gonna get a lot more competitive in this.
Right.
Whereas Canonical, I feel like, is anybody can just kind of put it on and play. It's one gun.
And Canonical is definitely setting themselves up for a future of in-app purchases. Well, like once that becomes a mainstream thing in the Oculus store, they've definitely set themselves up for that.
So $4.99, I think, is definitely worth it for this game.
Absolutely.
I think,
as far as the price points, I felt like most of the games we've reviewed, or most of the apps reviewed, have had a fairly reasonable price point. This one absolutely is. You're going to want to get people online to play. I definitely think we should get some more things arranged in the Go community so we can get some more gameplay happening. Because again, the bots, they leave a little bit to be desired, but it's absolutely worth the $4.99. If we're looking at keep versus delete, I'm keeping this one. This is a good one. I like it, and I would love to play this again.
Good news for those of you out there who are like, boy, I would love to play that, but I'm a cheap son of a gun, so I would just wish somebody would play Canonical with me. Well, good news. RJ Does VR, the developer of this game, actually gave us 4 codes to give away. So we'll put in the description how we're going to do that. We'll probably have you sign up, and then we'll probably tell you when we'll give them away. I thought maybe require people to come play with us, and that they not necessarily us, but the Go community. And so the winners will say to pick up your prize, you have to come pick up your prize on the day that we play. That way we know that you're not just going to take the code and not use it. The whole point of these codes is for people to play. So we'll put the details in the description of this video on YouTube so you can figure out how to redeem your code. But we have 4 to give away. So hopefully that means we can play a pretty sweet 3-on-3 game. Yeah, 3-on-3 game coming up soon. And I'm sure the date's back on our big screen right now.
That's right.
So, like Luke said, he would keep this app. I'm definitely going to keep this app. Also going to keep Canonical. They both have their place on the go for me.
Absolutely.
This is much more intense, competitive, in your face. Trash talk the other team if you want to. You can even set up a league. Canonical, I feel like, is more Canonical is more laser tag.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, thank you guys for tuning into this. We both decided we're going to keep it. To see when we're going to do our next video, to see our past videos, definitely subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you know the next time that we upload another video.
All right. Well, I'm Philip from GoBros saying goodbye.
And I'm Luke. See you guys next time.